graceful stream. Welcome to Hollywood. Did you come here for a reason, or just because you could?
Welcome back to Modern Art Blitz. I'm your host, Matt Gleason. My guest right now, an artist of fabulous materials and an even more interesting concept and great aesthetics, Raksha Parech. I said it right?
Yes, you did.
Yes! All right. Welcome to Modern Art Blitz. How you been?
I've been very well, thank you. How are you?
Good, good, good. Very good, very good. Now, I saw your show at LA Artcore it's been a couple months now.
Yes, I think
Yeah,
so.
that was a 3-person show you were part of, right?
Yes.
Was it 3 or 4 people?
No, it was 3 of us.
Three
It was
person.
me and Mark Stephen Greenfield and Karen Hampton.
Yeah, great show, great show.
Made in cotton.
Made in cotton, and the,
Yes.
and the theme was cotton. And but you're showing all over the place. You're not exclusive to LA Artcore now, are you?
No, I have shown at other venues.
You've shown a lot of other venues.
Yes.
Okay, so let's start with what are we looking at here?
Well, this piece, this is kind of like my signature piece in a way, because it embodies everything that I wanted to talk about. And it's made with more than like 140,000 cotton balls.
Oh my Lord,
Yeah.
140,000.
Pretty much.
Where does one purchase 140,000? I'm thinking Amazon might have a couple dozen, but where do you go for that?
I did it over a year.
Over a year.
Even more than a year. Like each week I would get a few bags and make my strips with, I'd soak them. First I have to burn the sugar, and then I make a syrup with it, and then I soak the cotton balls in it, unwound it, put it out in the sun, dried them in batches, then I would collect them and store them, and then finally put them together to make that structure.
And you've made this construction, and what is the title?
This one is called Two Pillars.
2 pillars.
2 pillars.
And what is it indicative of?
It's indicative of the 2 products that changed world history, I'll say.
Cotton and
cotton
sugar.
and sugar, production of cotton and sugar.
And that was primarily because of the slave trade.
Yes. But not just the slave trade. I mean, the slave trade existed because of the need to grow these commercially, on a commercial way. And the reason why I ended up doing this actually is because I was, I'm born in Africa, born in Zambia, and I'm of Indian descent, and I wanted to bring my world together. I wanted to know why I was born in Africa. Why was my mother born in Africa? What were the Indians doing in Africa? And so,
What were the Indians doing in Africa?
well, this is it, you see. Not only are Indians in Africa, they're in the Caribbean, they're in Fiji, they're Mauritius, and they were actually taken there after the slave trade ended. They still needed workers to work on the farms and on the plantations, and so they got Indians, indentured laborers from India to work.
And you're descended from that?
I'm not a descendant of that. I'm not. But there was a flow of Indian people out of India, outside of that, but related to that in a way to cater to those people, and so.
Merchants, etc.
Exactly, and priests and business people, opening up shops for those people. So it was related to that.
And so Zambia, do you grew up in Zambia?
Yes, I was born there.
So you're, and I have to think, you're probably the first Zambian I've ever met. Does Zambia, obviously, do they have an Olympic team? Do they do the World Cup at all? Any of that? No?
No, I think they tried, but it didn't, we don't have like.
What's the population of Zambia?
I think, I'm guessing now, I would say maybe like 15 million or so.
Oh yeah, okay, so
Yeah.
is it as big? Is there a state in the U.S. that it's the same size as?
Maybe Texas, I think.
Oh, whoa, I'll tell you, that's one of the biggest. Okay.
Yeah.
So what are we looking at here?
This piece is made with sugarcane paper. I wanted to use more than just sugar. I wanted to recreate the sugarcane. And so I made, I got a real sugarcane and I made a mold of it, and then I took sugarcane paper and I made pulp, and I...
Can you, if you lick it, is it sweet?
You could lick it.
Is it sweet? I mean, it's sugarcane, you know, like, is it sweet?
The outside is sweet because I painted it with sugar.
Oh, you painted it with sugar?
I
Okay,
painted
okay.
it with sugar.
Wow.
And it's kind of like really the sugarcane coming back together.
Does the gallery worry about the ants?
There's never been an ant.
Never been a problem?
No, because it's not sweet. It's burnt.
Oh, okay.
The sugar is burnt,
okay.
so
Sugar's burnt.
it's sweet, but it's like not the good kind of sweet.
Oh, okay. Ants are like, no thanks.
Yes,
We'll pass.
exactly.
We'll pass.
I tested it out.
You tested it out?
I
the
sure
ants
did.
come and they just, no.
No, they go
We'd rather
away.
have something a little saltier. Okay.
That's right.
So, and what year is this?
I would say this is like, it was ongoing for a couple of years, but I showed it at Michelle's gallery.
Michelle Papillon
Yes.
in Los Angeles.
Yeah, on her opening show.
Okay, great,
The opening
great.
show.
Wow.
So
And-
yeah, it's like shaped in the shape of a ship. It's in an east-west direction, and so if you look at it from the top, it would look like a ship.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're able to change your perspective on it, basically.
Yeah.
And so, and it's, how archival is something like this? Or is that obviously not your top priority, or?
It was, when I was making these, it was not my my priority, because I was more interested in like playing with the materials. I wanted the materials to be important. I wanted the materials to talk and experiment. I do a lot of experimenting.
Now, you know, in science, there's a lot of experiments. Most of them fail. So how do you know when an experiment failed? Because I see a lot of art that's like, well, it's an experiment. It's like, yeah, it looks like a failed experiment. Now your stuff looks great. Do you make a bunch of stuff and some of it's just like, this isn't going to work?
Well, this particular piece, I had no intention of making it this particular way, because they're separate pieces which I put together. But it sat around for a while. I was actually making a wall. I had made like layers and layers of sugarcane, and I had built a wall. But my place was small, and then I put it away, and then slowly this germinated out of my mind that I wanted to hang it that way.
So even an experiment that doesn't go the right way, you're going to find you could find another way to work with it, or you're going to learn from it.
Yeah, I don't put a lid on it. I let it, see what happens with it.
So where did you go to school? Did you go to art school?
I did a fifth-year program at Otis.
What is a fifth-year program?
If you've already got a degree,
Okay.
which I had from South Africa, University of Witwatersrand in Johannesburg.
Wait, the University of what?
Witwatersrand.
Witwatersrand. Okay, so you have a degree in what?
Industrial sociology
Oh wow.
and industrial psychology.
Industrial psychology.
Yes.
So you could counsel somebody who owns a big business?
Well, in South Africa, those courses were done by people who are interested in working with unions. Because the labor setup in South Africa is very, very different to probably anywhere else in the world. And so, because of the mining industry, because of
boy.
apartheid, people were kept separately. Pools of labor were made by keeping racially divided. And so that was what I learned in my industrial psychology and sociology classes, which has helped me in my artwork. It helped me to understand the way society was working. I was never political before that.
But it's inevitable that you're going to be political after something like that.
Actually, it's inevitable if you come in contact with a South African. I was married to a South African.
Oh, okay.
And he was my ex-husband, he was part of the struggle for South Africa. He was the president of the Black Student Society on campus.
Okay.
And so I was introduced to that. I'm just going and living in South Africa is political in itself, because from the minute you step on it, even just getting your visas, I was not allowed into South Africa for the first year of my marriage. And even though my husband was born South African. If you were white, you could go. You didn't need to go through the process that I had to go through. And then once you're there, you can't live wherever you want to. I had to live in the Indian area.
Wow.
The university I went to, it was like 1% quota of black students who could go to a white university. So you're living in a Indian area. The access to things you have is also very different. And then we also had to live far away, 20 miles out of town.
Ugh.
And so it's all that comes into my work.
Yes. Obviously, it changed your consciousness.
Yeah, definitely.
And so you come to the United States and you go to Otis.
Yeah, well, it was after a while, because
you
I was a
United
mother.
States, you came to the United States, you raised a family.
Yes.
Then you decided to work on the art exclusively.
Yeah, well, what happened was that I was interested in making a children's book story for my kids. And so I went to Art Center, and I was attending night classes, and my first class that I ever did was on children's books. And then I realized I don't know how to draw people, and I just needed to learn a lot of things. So I went to different classes at night, and then I realized I really wanted to be with people who, I was seeing the power of art, because when they did crits, I could see wow, things really come out in the way a person has painted a portrait, or what a person has highlighted in what they have done, what was important to this person. And so I was learning the power of art. And all the things that it could convey, and so I got more and more excited, and then I said I need to be around people who are artists, and so I ended up going.
Fun folks, they're real fun.
So I ended up going to Otis for a year, and then after that I thought, okay, I still need to learn, and so I I attended the master's program, which I did for 1 year, and then I was having a lot of issues of my own personal and other things.
You didn't necessarily need the master's program to be
I
an
didn't
artist.
finish it, no.
Okay. Can we go back real quick? She didn't talk about the one before this, just real quick. Can we go back one? Yeah. Okay, this is made out of cloth, correct?
Actually, it's a gourd.
A gourd.
It's a gourd, to which the inside I have feminized it. It's already feminine. It's like a uterus to me. That's why I have that picture.
You're posing in front of it as a uterus.
Yeah,
okay.
and
it's definitely feminized.
Yes, definitely.
Nobody can call that phallic.
So I was very. It's actually, I had found out that the genetics of the gourds in America have ancestry in Africa. And so I got, and it was represented like a boat to me that moved from continents, and it was just, it was a traveler, and so I wanted to bring it into my world, and I wanted to talk about femininity in relationship to movements of peoples across nations and stuff and continents and oceans, and still be who you are and carry the next generation and produce the next generation. So on the outside of the gourd, I attached all the cotton and the sugar and all that stuff, but the inside I wanted to keep it pure, as pure as I could, and still give meaning to the work for myself. So
okay, let's go. We had one up. Can we go to the next one now? Okay, and this is?
These, I call them cotton creatures, the one in the foreground and the one in the background. They're also gourds, to which I have not cut them open or anything. I just attached like the sugar and cotton stuff to it. And they're suspended from the ceiling. And
it's burnt sugar again, no ants, no trouble.
Yeah, I don't use sugar that hasn't been burnt. I use burnt sugar.
How do you burn sugar? Just curious.
I cook it.
You don't with a big lighter over the cube?
On my stove, I have a pot, non-stick pan, and I put in a whole bunch of sugar, and I burn it until it smokes, and then I take.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's kind of a waste. I would like some dessert. No? Okay.
It's not fun.
No, it's not good. Okay. So do we have another artwork? One more? Two more. Wow. Okay. Let's see this. Is this? This is from the same series.
This is from the same series, yeah. These are also called Cotton Creature, and I attach a lot of cotton strings to it, and just there's also I'm playing around with stuff, and then this kind of things comes up on, and it has meaning to me, so I keep it. I have other ideas generated from these that I'm gonna make.
You make one artwork, and it could influence the next year's worth of work, right?
Yes,
just after
exactly.
having gone.
I just play with.
Is it the finished product or the process that inspires you more?
I would say everything. The process is really interesting to me. It has to like fire up my brain, and
Do you ever get sick of like, oh, why did I start doing this? This is just I'm halfway through, and oh God.
With my big giant piece, it was like hell because it was a lot of work, a lot of repetition, and I was in a small place, and smoking in your small place is not fun.
Oh jeez. Let's see. You have one more after this. You have one more artwork. We do. Oh yes, this is my favorite. Now this was in the cotton show at LA Art Corps.
Yes.
And these are gourds also.
These are these are gourds that have been sliced, and the seeds have fallen out, and they're all like attached with cotton.
Wow.
Yeah. And the other thing that interested me about the gourds also, when I got my first gourd and I kind of cut it like that, when I looked at the seed, it looked like the slave ship.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and so actually that very thing inspired me a lot.
That's intense.
It's so intense. I just can't believe that I actually even did that, and it came to me. I don't know. God sent it to me.
Wow, that's a heavy vision.
I'm very happy to have these flowers because my painting with the gourd with the feminine I took pictures of flowers and I played around with them, and then I painted it inside the gourd.
Flowers?
Yeah.
Wow.
So the inside of the gourds are flowers.
Wow. Well,
that I took pictures of.
Well, it was wonderful to stop and smell the roses with you.
Yes.
Raksha Parech, thank you for being our guest on Modern Art Blitz.
Thank you for inviting me.
And we'll be back right after this. Okay, everyone.